Life Behind the Night Sky, Chapter 10. I must get my mom something special, I said as I walked through the aisles of a big box store. There's so many things I could choose from. How about this candle set? Alice said as she pointed to one of the shelves. If it's from you, she'll love it. As she was saying this, I was thinking about what I got Alice. I knew that I wanted to get her something special before we went to Orion. We'd leave in 2 months. This would be our last holiday season before we were citizens of Orion. Snow was coming, so I hurried up the selection process, and I agreed to settle for whatever she thought best. Your mom will love the candle set, Alice said as we pulled onto the highway. I hope so. This will be our last holiday together as children. These moments have to be perfect, and my mom must know. She must discover it in such a way that she will not stop us, they said. Within what seemed to be minutes, we got home and rushed into our apartment, eager to wrap presents. We had tonight to get the presents ready before Gabriel came back from my mom's. With holiday music playing, Alice prepared holiday Eve dinner and wrapped the presents. Winter Wonder played on the radio as snow began to fall. Our apartment was filled with the aroma of baked apple pie and ham. Alice was wonderful at baking. Whatever she did at the kitchen, she was always my favorite. I had to wonder if these moments would be always exciting if what the spaceman offered us was not offered. They told us that we would be permanently together, separate but together, sort of like a soulmate. I wish I were there right now. I could solve some of the most important questions running through my mind. Looked down into the shopping bag and pulled out a framed painting I was given to Grandpa Jed. On the painting were the words, "Family is forever." That is fitting, I thought. Our family will always be. Thinking about our last visit with Grandpa, I was filled with joy. I could not wait to give this to him. But this would be the last time I would see him as a child. After this, I would have sealed for myself the truth of Gabriel, which takes a long time. Once I come back, will have changed, but on the earth, as well as Grandpa's body, will not have changed. Gabriel will not have changed either. Still be 1 year old. For Alice, me, billions upon billions of years would have passed. But on the earth, when we return, we'll be the same, unless the whole family does what Jed said and live as a rich family, possibly in a whole different time. Maybe even the times of air-filled beings on the earth. As if all makes it possible. Thinking about this stuff was exciting, but I had to question. I was still on the earth, and I had to wonder if my family was going to come back to the earth. I tried to tell myself that I would not be here if we were not going to help raise Gabriel. But in the light of the earth, I could not feel as good as I could if I were in the city. I had 2 months left, and then reality will be my life. I will be okay. Dinner's ready, Alice said from the kitchen. Walked in the kitchen, happy to smell baked ham and pineapples. I was hungry. Sat down gladly. Thanked Alice, told her she was wonderful. Began to gather my plate. That night after supper, and all the holiday duties were done, I lay next to Alice, her head raised on my shoulder. This will always be like this, love between me and Alice. I knew a few good things about living, and one of these was Alice. I got sleepy and fell asleep. I got presents, I said as I opened the door to my mother's house. Kids were already there waiting to open their presents. I showed off the big brass bag of presents I was holding, hoping to excite the kids. Maple, let us open ours now, the kids said. I caved in and started handing out the presents, hugs and kisses I got from the children. I loved every moment of theirs. I left Grandpa's Jed's present on the tree. Once he noticed, he opened it and yelled across the room. He said, "Isn't that the truth?" Walked over to him and took a seat next to his, hoping no one else would hear our conversation. He said, "After you told me how I came to be and other great things, I could not help but want to give you this gift. But I leave in 2 months. How will I find you in the city?" Grandpa Jed tipped his chair back and said, "I'm glad you asked. There are laws in Orion, laws like not allowing others to enter the home occupied by the owner. So obviously that's not a possibility. But there are places that we can get together. They are like the earth. We could have family gatherings in such places. My father takes me to such places to fish or hike. There are public beaches, mountains, and a whole world waiting for us to explore. I have not mentioned this to you, but in the city I have a job. Grow apples in the mountains of APK, but not through old matter that exists, but fresh matter. Fresh from the love I give it. I grow some of the best apples around, or at least some say so. I had to go to the mountains of APK every 50 years. I asked, why do you not grow the apples in your own estate instead of the mountains. If I grow them for APK, I feel like I'm part of the bigger picture of creating love for my fellow man. It's the loving thing to do, plus I have 200 children and I want to set for them a good example. I've been in the city for a long time, more time than you can count. Bet you originally said I was 70. Everyone who sees me on Earth thinks so. Earth does that age thing. Cavemen learned about people their own way and shared it with the surrounding environment until it appeared to be the truth. If something taught you, Maple, you must get rid of the knowledge. I am trillions upon trillions of years old, and everybody in the city treats me like I'm a beginner, Grandpa explained. Grandpa and I talked most of the day as the family came up to give a merry greeting. Soon it was dinner, and afterwards I knew that I must tell my mother my intentions and question her about her dealings with Orion. A variety of food lightened up the atmosphere as I watched a lot of hands grab food. Their portion of a variety of food, green beans, stuffing, turkey, gravy, and Aunt Carol made a special dish which tended to be my main course. Grabbed the large spoon that sat on top of the casserole and grabbed as much green bean casserole as I could fit onto my plate. Holiday music played throughout the house and time went by fast. Soon, after most had eaten, everyone explained that they must go home. I heard Into the Night Go Fly By. Someone walked out the door to their car. I watched as most of the people gathered their belongings and walked out the door. Aunt Carol stayed behind. She thought it good to help my mother clean. As they were doing this, Alice took over my mom's effort to clean and told her she needed to rest. My mom agreed and sat down in the living room. This is the moment I considered. We have some time to discuss Orion. Sat down on the couch next to her, a bit nervous but anxious. The next couple hours was going to be important. Started talking. Mom, we never talk about certain stuff, but I want to give it a try. My friends and I have discovered a portal, and that portal leads to a city. That would be the city the universe is made up of. The universe invited my friends and I to live there. I had a talk with Grandpa, and he explained that he's been living there for a long time. He also mentioned that I wasn't born in a natural way, that you found me on the living room floor. Gabriel came in a similar way, I said. Mother looked at me shocked. She struggled for words and said, when do you plan on moving there? In a couple of months, I said. I'll explain it the way I like it, she said. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I worked hard for a child. But in my young adult years, the doctors told me that I could not have children. I was upset, began to seek help from the universe. Slowly things started happening for me, strange things that caused me to look deeper. I do not know if I would call it a portal, but a door opened into another dimension. My father did not know about it at the time, and I did not tell him. I went to that other dimension and found the future, and not just the future, but reality, a new reality. The people there told me that I needed to make money because when I got back to the earth, I would have a child. I stayed in Orion until I had enough money. I did not see your father the whole time I made the money to care for you. But one thing I did know was your father had to at some point work for your life to exist. For the truth that you are ours, that in that truth you are a child, that you did not just appear there by who knows. I know what Jed's been saying, that your father went to Orion to establish our family as truth as family. I just hope that it's true. There's so much confusion in my mind as if I've been on the earth for too long. I find it hard to accept that I made money at all. Once you turned 19, my money ran out. You appeared to have a child of your own. Like you, I faked reality to stay on the earth with you. When you appeared on the living room floor as a baby, I had to convince your father to pretend you were ours. In response to her story, I said, that's like Alice and me. Creatures that lived in the city explained to Alice that I had lived with Gabriel in the future. She immediately found herself to be with hopes of a child. She did not know what to say about that. So when we were in Florida together, she convinced me to say the baby was mine. Through that experience, I slowly fell in love with her. I knew I did not want to lie to everyone, but I loved her. The love was so intense that after a while I found myself proving the child was mine. As we spoke, I started wondering how my mom would get back to the city. When I questioned her, she said, they usually come and get me. They have throughout your whole life. This time I'm wondering if it would be best if I go with you. Hopefully I will find your father there. Alice walked into the living room after cleaning him. I said I told her everything about Gabriel and Orion, as well as our plan of living there in a couple of months. Months passed quickly and the day came. Brendon, Max, Brenda, Bam, Alice, my mom, and I stood at the entrance to the portal. Are we ready? I said in a loud voice. We walked through the opening, and within seconds all of us were in a room surrounded by wild vegetation. In the distance we saw the spacemen walking towards us. They took us, most of us, who had never lived in Orion. We had to be physically redesigned to live on the level of cleanliness and structure required just to stay in life. And my mother was treated with luxury in Orion for bearing a child. The red-colored spaceman led me into a golden-built, marvelous, out-of-this-world design room. He led me into the room. It appeared to be a hospital. Golden, clean, and sparkly tools were throughout the room. Come, the spaceman said, pointing to a huge golden sphere large enough to fit a person on the inside. Most of the sphere was hollow, but a notable structure. The sphere will move. Hold on to the gold. There is nothing to fear, the spaceman said. With bare feet, I walked into the narrow, golden steps. I placed my hands on the bars of the sphere, bracing myself. The spaceman began to give a touch of charity to some of the buttons and objects in the room. The sphere begins to move. My body begins to feel such love and ecstasy that I never knew was possible for a living being to feel. I'm being cleansed, I'm being washed. Cookies, mint, and candy filled the air. I could feel years of garbage being removed from my body. This is unbelievable. Days was my body worked upon in absolute charity. The others had similar experiences. After we got an official place in Orion, the spaceman brought my mom home to be with Dad. Us kids went for the ride. We walked up to the gates of their estate. My dad quickly noticed and shouted, "Sonny." I ran up to him and gave him a big hug. I explained to him the money and house offered to Alice and me, and that I was going to my new home to make home. And afterwards I wanted us all to go back to the same time on Earth to play a rich family. He laughed and gladly welcomed the idea. Alice and I walked into our brand new house, making plans as we went. The spaceman thought Alice and I were good investment, treated us to luxuries as well as millions of dollars. With that money, we furnished our home. Soon we would be back on the Earth raising Gabriel and helping her to see the light behind the night sky. Gabriel was truly our child. Alice says, confident we will establish our lives as well as Gabriel's. Yes, Gabriel is ours. Perhaps the spacemen nor their city were bad. Alice walks close to me and gives me a comfortable hug. I love you, Maple, she says. The world behind the night sky is incredible, rich and booming with activity. I know. Creatures built a city behind the night sky. They control the world below through giant cell phone towers. They have power over the very waves that make us us. Mr. Wood was right. Waves coming from outer space is behind the night sky. It was behind the sky, said Alice. It was behind, in other words, covered, grabbing her hand and walking the door, $7 million house that resided behind the night sky.